So after shooting the Winchester Model 12 yesterday, I had to take out my trench gun because I'm not really sure if I like the Winchester Model 12. I mean, it's got a lot of nice advantages. For example, the bolt doesn't come out of the rear like this. It stops right there. Both shotgun slam fire, which is pretty cool. The Winchester Model 12, what would you call that? Forward receiver? That's what I'm going to call it. Forward receiver is actually better because it's got this little extension right there, which gives your load tube a little bit more support. The 97 does not. I mean, you can get a solid frame 97, which would probably be ideal. But other than that, like, this load tube is just in with these threads. I'd like it if it had a little bit more support. Also, how the pump is made on the Winchester Model 12. It uses some sort of clamping power. It's still a single bar though, but it gives the wood a little bit more support. Your 97, it's got 3 screws. You got one right here, and one right here. A lot of times a little crack around these screws can back out. Not the best for, like right there, you got it cracking. Not the best for longevity. The Winchester Model 12, notice all those pins and screws are missing on the side of the receiver because it comes apart like a modern shotgun. Well, modern shotgun's a bit easier, but you get the idea. Your 97, it's got a bunch of little parts. You got screws in there. Your pump release on the 97's right here. Mine is actually disabled, so I can just pump it all the time whenever I want, which I actually really like. Strongly recommend modifying your 97 that way if you got one, because it's a world of difference. It's pretty nice. The only problem is, if for whatever reason you're shooting one-handed or something like that, it can come out of battery and then it don't want to fire. So you gotta use 2 hands. Now let's get into the disadvantages. The load gate. I absolutely cannot stand load gates, and the Winchester Model 12 has it. It makes doing twin loads and just any type of load really difficult. Like, say I'm doing a twin load and I drop the ball, the load gate will kick the shell on the ground. Not ideal. Your 97, it's got a nice open concept. Doing twin loads is super easy. Let's say I'm doing a twin load and I drop the ball while the shell's still there. That's exactly where I need it anyway, so I can continue my twin load. So I had to take my 97 back out and shoot it and decide, do I really want to keep the Winchester Model 12? Because it's got a lot of things I just don't like about it. Now, before we look at the shooting video, I got a lot of comments on the last one, talking about various different things, like you should be 10 feet from an obstacle. No, a barricade. You should be 10 feet away from a barricade. Well, there is no 10 feet inside my house. This is a house gun. If I leave the house, it's staying behind. Now I'm going to switch to a rifle. The only reason it's got a sling is in case I need to make a sandwich or something, I can just sling it up, use my hands, eat my sandwich, and then pull it back out. You'll also notice in the video, my heat shield winds up breaking. One of my welds broke up front, which was to be expected. The welder I used to originally do this was just garbage. It has 2 settings, low, which isn't high enough to even melt the wire that it's feeding out, and then high, which wants to just melt the metal. So I gotta get this re-welded. I can't even use that welder anymore because I broke it trying to do some real welding with it. So I gotta find somebody that can weld this for me. Also, I need to still cut the stock down because it's still about 3/4 of an inch too long, but I wasn't thinking about that when I branded this thing. But I could get away with taking off a 1/2 inch, and that'll definitely make it better. Because right now it's got a 13-inch length of pull, and my length of pull is 12 1/4. I'd like just to be a little bit more forward on it, and I've been meaning to cut down the stock, I just haven't got around to it, but since I need to re-weld this now and I can't shoot it until it gets done, I might as well do that now. So let's take a look at the shooting footage. Obviously the commies are trying to move back on my position again. Do got the M97 today though, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. You'll notice some of the longer targets, which are roughly 22 yards away, the shotgun's having troubles connecting. It's not that the shotgun sucks. I'm completely out of practice ammunition. I've shot it all up. We didn't have any in the store I could pick up. So I'm shooting buckshot. And at about 15 yards, at a human-sized silhouette target, I'll get 1 or 2 pellets that are off the target. So I'm shooting out of its capable range for buckshot at that small of a target. Even at 10 yards, if I was aiming directly at a target this size, there's a possibility it's going to slip through the pattern. Just because it patterns that much. Now, I love it for home defense because I've decided in my head, what makes sense to me is I'd be better served hitting all the vital organs instead of just doing a crap ton of damage to a single vital organ. Because I think that you'd just bleed out faster if you had more vital organs punctured instead of one destroyed. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's just what I've decided. So I love the spread on it, but trying to hit pop cans at range with buckshot is pretty difficult. I think possibly my weld might be getting weak on there. I might have to drill this and re-weld it. Not a big deal. So I put that blue barrel in there to kind of give me the size of what my house is like. Because that's about as far as I can get away from a corner. And the whole point of me shooting, like with a barricade with these shotguns, is so I can practice shooting from compromised positions. Practice from a kneel, practice from a squat, practice offhand, because that's actually difficult to do. It takes a little bit of practice. This way, when I'm moving through the house, I could be like, okay, I've practiced shooting crouching a whole bunch before. I'm kind of good at it. I've practiced shooting offhand, so if I want to switch hands to take a corner this way, I can do that. Ideally, I would never shoot a shotgun outside of a shoot house, but I just don't have those capabilities. The next thing that I'd like to do if I can't go out of a shoot house is mock up on a piece of concrete, like take tape and mock out the floor plan of my house and just keep practicing moving through there. I don't have those capabilities either. What I have is a straightforward range. The only capability I have is to go within 30 yards, put some sort of obstacle there, and practice going around the obstacle. It's not a barricade, it's not cover, it's an obstacle I'm trying to get around, like a couch or something like that. So that's why I shoot my shotguns the way I do, because they are strictly house guns. Now when I shoot my rifles, like the Black 13, I usually do that from prone, or from some sort of rest, because that's a competition rifle and an ambush rifle. Pistols, it's a little bit different. I probably wouldn't use a pistol at all, but if I had to, like, then I can get, like, okay, you should start using the rules, 10 feet from a barricade, stuff like that. So what do I think? After shooting the 97, it definitely highlighted how much I hate the Winchester Model 12, especially when it comes to reloads, because when it comes to shotguns, reloading is everything. They just go through ammo so fast. Even a really, really high capacity shotgun, 10 shots. That's it. Mainly, it's because of the stupid load gate. I really, really dislike load gates. You're almost stuck to just loading one at a time. And then that hillbilly modification's on there, so it doesn't hold the shells unless the load gate's up. Even in my last video, I'll roll in the clip right here. It's way too long. This would have to be cut down a lot. And because this would have to be so heavily modified for it to work for me, I think I'm actually going to probably just throw this on the shelf and see if I can't make like $100 off of it. And then use that front end I got. Let me grab it real quick. And use this front end because there's absolutely no reason not to modify this and I'd be building the shotgun from scratch. And then I'd probably like it a little bit more. But taking this, especially where it's in really good condition, and modifying the crap out of it just doesn't almost make sense. So like I said, I'll probably wind up throwing that on the shelf, and if I could pull like $100 or so off of it, I'll just sell it and then use that money to buy the parts for that one. And I apologize for the rant about why I shoot my shotguns the way I do. But it's because it's what makes sense for me. It's how I'm going to use my shotgun. If I was to actually test this one out yesterday the way it should have been tested out, I would have been shooting at clay pigeons because that's the only practical purpose for this. Unfortunately, I don't have a clay pigeon shooter. That's also why I shoot at pop cans, because I figure if I can drill pop cans at 20 yards, hitting a human-sized silhouette, and the longest distance in my house is like 7 yards, shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you'd like to check out my other videos, click on the links up here. If you'd like to help support the channel, I got my Patreon. I also got affiliate links in the description down below. Even if you don't buy what the link is for, just clicking on it and doing your Amazon shopping you were going to do anyway, I get a little kickback for it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.